Hello, good people, and thank you so much for checking out my channel. All right, so this week on Tyler Perry's Sisters, I hope you guys had a chance to watch. It's season 4, and this is episode 9, Counterpunch. I don't know why it's called that, but anyway, we start out with Zach. Of course, we have the police are there to arrest him, and the agent lady. We don't know what agency she belongs to, who she is. I haven't even heard her name of what. And then she doesn't even read Zach his Miranda rights. Tyler Perry, we need that. That stuff is important. I know that it should be read to someone when they're being arrested. I'm up in age, so I know these things. But I like to be reminded about this. So what happened to that? And that's just like with Medea Homecoming on Netflix. When Brown caught on fire, not one time did Medea say drop and roll. No one said drop and roll so Brown would know to fall to the ground to get the fire off of him, to put the fire out. And we need that information, Tyler Perry. Don't be leaving out important stuff. Come on. I'm still a fan of Sisters. Okay. All right. So on this particular episode, we have Zach there, as I mentioned before. I'm going to try not to be repetitive as some of the scenes on Tyler Perry shows. But he's been arrested. We don't know why exactly. His rights are not read to him. He asked Jake, the guy that was there with him, to contact Fatima and to look in things for him. So we see he get hauled off to jail. Then we go to Fatima and Andy at the office. And Andy is confessing her love for the penthouse and also the car that Gary's bought her. You know, Gary's bought her all these things, trying to get back into her good graces and for them to be in a relationship together. But she's like, she's kind of falling for it, even though she knows better. And then Fatima also lets her know about how much she's in love with Zach and everything. And remember, Fatima, she doesn't know that Zach's been arrested. So, but you know, they're chatting it up about their love for these guys. And so Fatima gives Andy a rubber band ball, saying that for every time there's something bad, she's supposed to take a rubber band off. And once all the rubber bands are gone, that means that she's supposed to get the hell out the relationship. And she said that she's even done this before in a previous relationship, whatever. And so it kind of seems that Andy is on the side of keeping the penthouse, right? But then later on, she goes to see Karen, and her and Karen chatted up, you know, they're BFFs, whatever. And Karen just lets her know, you know, if you do keep the penthouse, then it's like he's going to show up whenever. Even though he paid for it in your name, he's going to feel like, okay, this is something I bought, so I have the right to just come and show up whenever I want to. So Andy's like, okay, you're right. So Andy decides that she's going to sell the penthouse and she'll just give the money back to Gary. All right. And she even lets Gary know later on the phone that all the stuff that he's doing is good with the gifts and all that, but it's still going to be the same thing over and over and over again with him. You know, so I don't know. Pretty much over the storyline about Gary. Let's move on. Gary is crazy. We see that he will go to the wit's end to try to be with Andy, even though he still don't try to get his ish together. Right? So we have the bank scene with Sabrina, and it starts out with the African guy. I think his name is Badu. The guy that she knew from a while ago that has the restaurants and everything. So we have him coming in, and he doesn't mention what countries he's from or anything like that. But he comes in and he tries to withdraw money. And this is only to let Sabrina know how he's balling. So, of course, when she pulls up his information and she sees the balance on his account, and not only does he have one account that's flooded with funds, he has multiple accounts. So this guy is very wealthy, you know. So he's just trying to let her see that because he's interested in her. But, you know, she just tell him that he has to go to another branch to withdraw that type of money and all that stuff. But it really did catch her attention. So, of course, Maurice knows himself. He wants to come over and look and see what's going on. And then, and then we also have when Maurice receives a call from Kevin. Kevin's at the apartment, him and Maurice room together. And when Kevin got to the apartment, Q was already there. And we saw on a previous episode was Q with where Q was outside the bank and Maurice told him he needed to leave. And so he was like asking Maurice for someone to stay. And Maurice was telling him no, he couldn't stay with him, that he can't help him, and that he just need to go on about his business. But Kevin gets to the apartment and Q is already posted up. Q is sitting on the sofa chilling, watching TV. He probably was even getting ready to do a YouTube recap or review or something, right? So Kevin calls Maurice to let him know that this man is up in this place, this Negro. I'm gonna say it like that. So Maurice was like, what is he doing there? Tell him to leave. He's not supposed to be there, whatever. And so Kevin puts the phone on speaker, and he's Maurice is talking to Q, and Q was like, I'll see you when you get here. Like, he's not even bothered by anything that Maurice is saying. I kind of feel like Q is setting Maurice up. Like, maybe he told the law officials or whatever that Maurice had something to do with the bank robbing or something like that. And even Sabrina mentions to Maurice that that people were thinking that Maurice had something to do with it. So I feel that Q is trying to set Maurice up. And I've mentioned to you guys before, most of the time I skip Maurice parts because he overacts. But with this particular storyline with Q, that's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is happening. So Maurice leaves the bank and he goes to his place to try to get Q out of there. So I guess we'll see that next week. All right, so let's see here what else happened. So that was Sabrina. The guy came trying to entice her, letting her see his bank account. We have Maurice having to do with the Q issue. Oh, and then we have Karen. So prior to Karen and Andy talking, we do have a scene where Karen is at her hair salon. She's been ignoring the calls from Aaron, the preacher guy. He's been calling, messaging her, but she's not paying attention to it or whatever. So he comes to the hair salon, of course, asking why she's not answering him. She don't want to talk to you. She don't want to be bothered right now. So, and she pretty much tell him the same thing, like, yeah, I saw your messages, but I mean, I don't need to talk to you right now. And then she admits to him that she did go ahead and schedule a doctor's appointment, and he's like, well, I know such and such, and I can go ahead and get you in. He knows someone that works at the hospital, and he could go ahead and get her in. But she was like, no, I just stick with the appointment that they gave me. He wants to go to a doctor's appointment with her. He wants to know if she checked the calendar because he really believes this is his baby. She don't want it to be his baby. And she tell him, no, it's not your baby or whatever. All right. So she dissed him really hard. He's so soft. So he leaves. And while she's standing there talking to her receptionist, they happen to look outside and see that he's still in the parking lot. And like, what is he doing? And so they look closer and they see he's outside sobbing, like he's really crying. Karen hurt his feelings so bad. So she goes outside to talk to him, and she apologized for being so dismissive and rude to him, whatever, and everything. And so she just lets him know, like, this is a lot that she's dealing with right now. She got to figure things out. And he also needs to figure things out. And then she did. They both say that they love each other and all that stuff. So I guess they just have to figure out how things are going to go once she confirms the pregnancy, and also confirm who the darn daddy is or whatever. And he is all gun-ho and said, regardless of if the baby is his or not, that he is there for her and that child. So he's really in love with her. So we'll see how that turns out. And then we circle back to Zach. It ends on Zach again. And he's in the interrogation room, and it's Jake. And then this other guy is there, and they're still asking information about how did he know to invest in that particular stock. This kind of has Hayden all over it, because, we know Hayden continues to be in Zach's business. He want to know how Zach got that information about the stock, how he got all that money. And he really wants to take Zach down because, he's still trying to get with Fatima. And they did have a scene with him with Hayden and Fatima at the office in the garage once again. And he's still hopping around on those crutches. And, It's the same thing where she's threatening to kill him if he does not leave them alone and all that stuff. And he's another one of Tyler Perry characters who is like a roach and don't know how to stop no matter what. Just continues to come with stuff all the time until the end result is that someone has to kill them. But after, it'll be after so much has been done. So I don't know. All right. So that was season 4, episode 9. We'll see what happens next week. I'm not exactly sure how many more episodes is in this season, but I'll continue to stay tuned. There are a lot of scenes that's very repetitive. But it's not bad. It really has my attention, and as I mentioned before, as far as one of those girl group type shows, this is very good, better than Sex and the City and Just Like that show. And Just Like That, that was, part of Sex and the City on HBO Max. It was whack. So this is much better than that. So I'm still here to support Tyler Perry and follow along with his shows and with anything, even like my video content, and it always can stand for improvement, right? All right, so thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. Please like, subscribe if you have not. Thank you if you have. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Share with a friend, and have a great day. Bye.